I just want to talk to you about the goals of this curriculum and specifically the main goal, which is teaching for transfer. So these are the some of the goals. One of them is curricular consistency. So as you probably know, before we changed the learning outcomes, there were a lot of great things going on in 1101. But they might have been totally different things. So you might have had student A in an 1101 class that was doing a lot of great things, and student B in an 1101 class that was doing a lot of great but completely disparate things. And students A and B would have gone into an 1121 course, and that the professor would have to start again from the top because they would have no shared language. So now we're just striving for curricular consistency, and we're also striving that there's a shared trajectory from 1101 to 1121. Another thing that we're looking for is, as you'll see here, about 85% of students nationwide, when asked, what did you learn in your freshman composition courses, they say absolutely nothing. Whether or not they didn't learn anything, this is a higher number than in most courses that they're asked this about, and this is somewhat discouraging. There's a lot of research about how we can improve this, and we're going to be talking about this as we go on. But what we want is for students to see the importance of writing in their academic and their non-academic lives. Another goal is that we promote research as scholarship. So instead of students starting with a thesis and then trying to prove that thesis correct, what we want is for students to really investigate ideas and be willing to have the idea that they go in with changed. The main goal, as I said before, is this one, which is transfer. So that is to help students use the skills they learn in first year writing outside of our classroom, whether it be in their academic careers, but also in their out of school careers. And there's a lot of research as to how to do that. Transfer refers to how to use how previous learning influences current and future learning, and how past or current learning is applied or adapted to similar or novel situations. Transfer isn't so much an instructional and learning technique as a way of thinking, perceiving, and processing information. So this is basically learning how to use a tool and then on your own, without the teacher, using a tool for a different situation. So you're in shop class, you learn how to use a hammer, and you learn how to build a birdhouse, and then later, without your teacher around, you use that same hammer to build a woodshed. So this is that you've transferred that skill into something new without your instructor there. You teach for transfer. Again, like I said, there's a lot of research about this. As you'll see, these first three are all about awareness. The first is rhetorical awareness. This is kind of reading as a writer. Awareness of not only what the writer is saying, but how they're saying it. And we'll talk more about this as we go on. Genre awareness. So this is awareness of the different skills that are needed in different writing situations. The conventions of various forms of writing. Metacognitive awareness. Who am I as a writer? What are the best times that I write? What are my skills? And student engagement. We'll talk more about that. So the rhetorical situation. This is rhetorical awareness of the rhetorical situation. So you might want to think about, what is the writer's intention? Who is the audience? What is the purpose? What is the type of language being used and why? What is the medium for the communication and why? What are the constraints presented by the situation? So what are the limits to why the writer is writing this way, and what are the opportunities presented by this situation? And when students identify and analyze the rhetorical situation as well as the context of the text, They learn about the differences in writing situations and the various elements that shape the discourse. All of this knowledge helps lead to transfer. So if I were giving this slideshow to my students, I might ask them, why am I using a slideshow instead of just lecturing you about this? Why am I using bright colors and images and bullet points instead of just presenting this all in one big paragraph? Here's a typo. Who is the audience that I'm trying to reach? That one's easy. That one's a gimme. What does the writer want you to do with this information? Who are these guys and what are they doing? I actually don't know. They're alchemists. I'm not sure why I put that there. Genre awareness is different. So than rhetorical awareness. You're thinking about what, and here we're not talking about the genres of like a mystery, a detective novel. Those are kind of the same, but here we're thinking about maybe a science article. Here she talks about a love letter, a resume. They're kind of everyday, are more everyday genres. Knowing what a genre is used for can help people to accomplish goals, whether the goal be getting a job by knowing how to write a stellar resume, winning a person's heart by writing a romantic love letter, or getting into college by writing an effective personal statement. And you'll see here that if you mismatch your goals to your genre, then you're gonna not be able to achieve your purpose. So if I write in love letter language when I'm writing my college personal statement, I might make some people very uncomfortable. So questions you could ask your students and yourself about genre, either in a discussion post or if you have a synchronous component. What is a genre of writing you know well? And they all have one, whether or not they say they do. They write text messages. They probably don't write Facebook posts anymore, but Instagram or TikToks or whatever. What are the rules of that genre? And this is very important. How did you learn those rules? How much freedom do you like to have when you write? This is going to be different for everyone. And we have a variety of different assignments, especially in 1101. There's there's an annotated bibliography in 1121 too. Those have very rigid rules. Some people like rigid rules. Some people hate rigid rules. So does it help you to have a form to follow, or do you find forms limiting? The next thing is that helps transfer is metacognitive reflection. These are, and this is in the Tazic and Robertson. You look backward, to think about what you already know about writing. You look inward to think about what you're writing now. Look forward for your writing plans, and look outward. So what do you see in the writing around you? And the last thing is, again, this about student engagement. It should come as no surprise that not just students, but everyone writes better when they have something to say. That's why you'll see that all of our assignments have some element of student choice. In the annotated bibliography exercise in 1101, while there's a rigid form, students have a choice of what topic they're writing about. And that's scaffolded so they find something they're actually curious about. In 1121, students choose what type of article they write, and they choose their topic. These are all because when students care, when they're engaged, when it's part of their community, then they have something to say. This is what's called a pedagogy of supported autonomy. We help them. We don't say just write whatever. We help them, but then we also give them some choice so that it's about them and their voice. And this really helps them transfer their skill because they're learning to write with purpose. They have a purpose. So that's it, folks. Thanks.